Hey, hello everyone.
Hello.
Scoot in a bit, Boo, so you're right in. Just kidding.
Hi. How's everyone
Okay,
doing this Friday? It's March. That really happened quickly for us. I don't know about you
man,
guys, but
it did. Yeah, definitely. Well, hi everyone. For those of you that don't know us, my name is James Marin. I'm an integrated registered dietitian, environmental nutritionist,
I'm Delia Marin, registered dietitian nutritionist.
and welcome, guys. This is actually our dietitian talk, and we're doing a live Q&A. Our other dietitians are seeing patients right now, so they got a little busy right now, so that's great. But we're doing a live Q&A. If you guys didn't know, March is National Nutrition Month, so
Mhm.
it is exploring a world of flavor. That is like the theme of National Nutrition Month, and this is put out by our like accrediting body, or our what would you call
A
it?
representing body,
Representing
the
body,
Academy of
we'd say.
Nutrition and Dietetics.
Yeah, and so they're putting this out, which is great. It's putting the word out there of like, hey, National Nutrition Month. But we like to say every month for us is National Nutrition Month, and yeah, so it's we're celebrating this world of flavors for
That's
this
the
month.
theme of this year of National Nutrition Month. And even though March is dedicated to celebrating nutrition and really bringing that
Mhm,
attention and awareness as it's National Nutrition Month,
mhm.
for us, every day is Nutrition Day, right? And we want every day for you guys and your good gut to be that as well. So we're excited. We're here. We want to hear your questions that you have as well. We're here to
We're
kind of
here
do
live
a
Q&A.
live Q&A on nutrition. So it can be gut health focused nutrition,
Uh-huh.
plant-based nutrition, or if you
Yep.
guys just have general nutrition questions, James and I are here to answer them for you. And like James said, Joseph has patients to see. Joseph specializes in eating disorders and that gut brain connection.
Mhm,
Vicky specializes in metabolic health. So Vicky specializes in things like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension,
mhm.
hyperlipidemia, weight loss. So we love, love, love having our team to
Hi,
kind of share
everybody.
things
I've
with.
seen everyone pop on. We're on Instagram Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. So wherever you're watching us, comment down below. We'll answer your questions. I'm seeing a bunch of people join. Hi, everybody. And we're drinking a little latte here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Um, we have our little lattes Dahlia made. These are our Ticino lattes with what'd you put in here, Dahlia?
I just frothed up in the frother some almond, 50-50 almond and soy
Oh
milk,
yeah,
organic soy milk. So got a little afternoon pick me up going. We don't
love it.
tend to consume caffeine. I don't handle caffeine well. Studies show that coffee can be great for you.
Yes.
Green tea, we're huge fans of. I just don't handle caffeine very well. So, and especially not this late. It's 2:40 for us.
Yeah.
So we choose non-caffeinated options, and I like the taste and I like the smell of coffee. So for us, we really like Ticino. So that's just kind of our personal preference of choice. And
Yes.
I also had one of these as a little snack. We always want to share with you guys like what we're eating, what we're drinking. You always have great questions, but we're also having these magic dates bites. And we
Ooh.
love, love, love these. Our beautiful friend Diana started this company. And so we love these. They're sweetened just with dates. So they're dates and nuts. These ones are dark chocolate covered, but it's unsweetened chocolate. So I really like this for a no added sugar. Nice little pick me up. So again, this does have a little bit of caffeine. So that's a little afternoon pick me up, but we're pairing that with our Ticino today.
And on the topic for National Nutrition Month, and again, guys, if when we start seeing your questions, we'll start answering them. But on the topic of National Nutrition Month, like kind of just the world of flavors, um, that's so important for our patients, guys. Like we are all
Mhm.
about exploring different foods, exploring different flavors. I think
Cultures.
cultures, because a lot of us are just, especially the way I grew up. I grew up here in the United States. I grew up very sheltered from food, I would say, where I would eat, and when you think about it, the same types of foods really at the base, right? It was just lots of processed grains, it was lots of chicken, lots of beef, and that was pretty much it. And then just rotate. And then there'd be a sprinkle of like fruits and vegetables here and there. But when you really understand plant foods, when you really understand this diversity of foods and all the different flavors out there, you realize, oh my gosh, I don't have to dump a bunch of salt on my food or dump a bunch of oil or just stick to my chicken and beef and fish and rotate routine. There are so many different types of plant-based proteins. There's so many different types of when you think about it, all the herbs and spices are plants, right? They're different roots and tubers and vegetables that are dried, as well as different these roots get grinded up, and we call them spices, right? Or they're chilies, dried chilies, and all these different things to flavor your food. Where those count as part of your diversity, right? We get that question a lot
Mhm.
because we're always talking about, diversity in your diet, eating, where the study really kind of set that precedent of eating at least 30 different plant foods a week. We say keep going, right? Like 30's the minimum, if that, right?
Mhm.
That is just what's been studied. But I think as we start to study more and more, we're going to find that, hey, the better you're diversifying your food, the better it is for your gut microbiota and your body. Again, just to reiterate, the gut microbiome is the nexus of all the health in your body, right? And really the world, we say. So it is important to take care of this gut microbiota. So that is going to happen with the diversity in your diet for
And that
sure.
really goes along with the theme, right? Celebrating a world of flavor. And so that also can be just so, so good for your gut. It really is a disservice, I think, when healthcare practitioners aren't culturally sensitive or culturally aware, because, like James said,
Oh,
I
I am
think
saying hellos.
that's where we learn, that's where we lose some of that diversity. And that's where we lose some of that opportunity to add these
Mhm,
beautiful, diverse flavors and spices and, really standard cultural foods like kimchi or sauerkraut. Those are
mhm,
great cultural foods, such flavorful foods, such good gut foods that are food ferments or fermented foods. And so you're really getting that benefit across the board. You are sticking to that richness, you're sticking to that diversity. You are also getting in foods that are fermented, right? There was that new
mhm,
great study that came out that showed 6 servings of fermented foods or more were really beneficial to the gut microbiome. And so those can be great cultural foods as well. So we
mhm.
really encourage you guys branch out. That was part of our motivation as well behind our ebook that we had released in December. It was Good Gut A to Z. Our motivation was trying to encourage you all to eat and learn how to tolerate more of these different plant foods.
Yep.
The more that you're exposing your gut to them, the more your gut understands how to digest and break them down. It's
Love it.
like a muscle, right? You're not going to suddenly go from not working out to trying to bench press 300 pounds. Your gut is kind of the same. You want to work your way up, but diversify. So in that ebook, our Good Gut A to Z, we shared with you guys 100 plus new foods, hopefully
Mhm.
some new, some familiar, but 100 plus plants and 100 plus recipes on how to prepare them and eat them. So that really is where our passion lies. It's so simple of let's just eat more plants, right? Let's eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, grains, legumes, herbs, and spices. We want you guys to know about them and know what the benefits are of them for you, for your gut, for your family, how to eat them, what to do with them. So, for National
Mhm.
Nutrition Month and beyond, we highly, highly recognize the value in that and we highly encourage that.
And we're seeing some questions come in. So I saw the first one come in through Instagram, and then we have another one coming in through
Mhm.
YouTube. So let's go. We'll go here. So Brooke Marzi, what can I do to best support my liver? And then we'll answer the next one.
Mhm.
But so what can I do to best support my liver? That is a wonderful question. And it does go along the lines of what Dahlia was discussing a bit, where it really gets to the idea of what are these microbes doing? How do they fit into this idea of digestion, really all the pathways in your body? The liver being one of them, because really without healthy microbes you aren't facilitating a healthy liver, right? And that's easy to say, or at least it makes sense in our brains just with what we're reading and what we're looking at. But you're like, what? Like microbes in my liver? How does that factor in? Well, you're going to utilize your microbes to properly break down fat. You're going to utilize your microbes essentially properly to break down a lot of the nutrients you're intaking. So facilitating that healthy gut ecosystem is important, because essentially everything you eat is going to go through your liver. And liver is definitely, and mostly we think of liver, we're thinking of lipid panels, we're thinking of all the micelles and how we break down fat and how we transport fat. That is huge. But the liver is this, I call it like the Amazon center, right? Where all the orders come in and everything's getting packaged and processed and going out. So that is the liver. And essentially you have this huge like hepatic vein, right? Going to the liver and going out and just facilitating all this via the blood, as well as facilitating different, fat cells and fat transport and these lipoproteins. And I can nerd out and go into all that. But overall, the point I'm getting to is even liver health is really connected to so many things. But to really kind of dive a little bit deeper, and this is what's been studied a little bit more in nutrition, is when we go into cruciferous vegetables. And then we start to go, well, there's many, and especially when we talk about IBS and SIBO, I can't eat cruciferous vegetables. Like broccoli makes me bloated. Oh man, you're telling me to eat more broccoli for my liver, right? Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, or broccoli
Right.
sprouts, all these great things for the liver. And what if you're suffering with IBS? You're like, I can't eat those foods. I feel terrible when I eat those foods. Well, that's an indicator why your liver health is also struggling to begin with, right? Maybe it started early on with like, oh, I'm a little more bloated, or oh, I'm getting that indigestion, or oh, I'm constipated. And now we fast forward maybe 2, 5, 10, 20 years, and now doctors saying, hey, your liver enzymes are elevated, or you're having trouble regulating your cholesterol or LDL, and et cetera, right? High triglycerides, right? We call that hypertriglyceridemia, and all these scary words start getting thrown at you when early on the early signs were there. The early signs for your gut health were there, and those that factors heavily into how you're going to eat the foods that are good for your liver, and then also protecting your liver. So hopefully that makes sense. So long story short, though, if you find yourself, again, this is not medical advice, this is not, anywhere geared towards an individual, this is just very general. A lot of times, especially if you're struggling with other gut symptoms, this is where I really really love green juices. Green juice is a great way. This is where you are omitting the fiber, but this is strictly green juice. This is like a green juice, for example, is I'm maybe putting some cucumbers, I'm putting cilantro, kale.
It's like a salad.
It's like a big, super deep, dark green salad that you drink, and it doesn't have to be a big, tall glass like this. It could be a little shot even, and you're getting kind of started with that. The beauty of that are those greens, and those benefits to those greens travel straight to your liver. They're getting into your blood a lot quicker. If you're struggling with digestion, there's really not much to digest. It's gonna just go into that blood, go into your liver, and do work to try and help some of those cells a bit. Okay. This is very generalized. There's a lot more you could do, but this is where, yeah, juices are beneficial. Green juices. I'm not saying put a bunch of apples or mango juice or whatever. Now there's like the sugar cane juice. And I'm not saying get a bunch of that sugar. I'm saying go for those greens. That's a great first step. And then work with a good care team. If your liver's in trouble, your digestion's in trouble, you need a good care team for sure. I don't
Yeah.
know what you
And
want to add to that.
there's that bi-directional relationship, like James was kind of saying, with
Mhm.
your liver and your gut. Keep in mind, those are
Yep.
two of our main detoxification organs, right? I
Yep.
think the word detox has been really demonized by people, but we're always detoxing. So we're detoxing when we breathe through our lungs, we're detoxing through our skin, we're detoxing through our kidneys every time we urinate, we're detoxing through our liver constantly, and we're detoxing through our colon, our bowels,
Mhm.
every time we have a bowel movement. And so when maybe gut health is compromised, maybe you're super constipated, maybe there's a slowdown there, that can affect the liver. That's going to overburden or put more burden or put more work on a lot of your other detoxification organs. So, like James was saying,
Mhm.
you want to figure out what's going on with your gut. But food specifically, in addition to the ones that you had just mentioned, those
Yeah.
cruciferous vegetables, those crucifers, and those dark leafy greens, which are so great. Other high antioxidant foods. So, again, you really want to go high antioxidant when we're talking
Yeah.
liver, but you really want to eat these foods anyways, for your liver, for your gut, for your skin, for everything. So high
Yeah.
antioxidants are going to help everything.
Mm.
But dark berries, so things like
Oh yeah.
pomegranates, blackberries, blueberries are really great. So those really nice, beautiful dark berries are wonderful, high antioxidant foods.
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan, like James was saying, of herbs and spices, so cilantro and parsley, wonderful as well. And then bitter foods. So bitter
Ooh, the
foods.
bitters. Yeah.
Yes. bitter foods have been shown in studies to help with bile flow. And so we know that our liver is our organ that's responsible for hundreds of things in the body, but one of them is to make bile, that beautiful
Mhm.
digestive juice that helps break down and digest fats. Bile also
Okay.
helps with helping the release of a hormone called motilin, which
Mm.
factors into your motility. It is so important for cholesterol breakdown. So bile is super important. We want to make sure, one, our liver is making enough bile. We want to also make sure that the bile is traveling properly through the common bile duct to go to the gallbladder, that our gallbladder secreting the bile into our digestive tract. So there's quite a process there. But we want to make sure, again, you have good travel. So bitter foods, and bitter foods maybe even between meals, can be helpful. So those bitter greens, arugula,
Right.
dandelion, is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Dandelion's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we know that those are really great. We know spices
Radish.
like saffron, yes, bitter foods like radish, those root
Spicy even.
vegetables,
A little spicy.
other herbs like dill.
Mhm.
Coffee is a bitter as well. So lots of different bitter foods, lots of different bitter
Mhm.
herbs that can be utilized. Jerusalem artichoke. So really
Mhm.
trying to get these foods in for your gut and for your liver. And if you're a parent, really trying to get these foods into your little ones at a young age, so that way they don't get
Palate.
older and they're like, oh, now I'm having liver issues. Let me try to start eating these foods. I'm struggling with them. So we're all
I'm
all
a
all about that.
I want to get to as many because we're not going to be on for too long. So I know
No,
Dahlia can
cut me
stick
off.
on a question for I mean, the liver, we could do a whole live on the liver. So that's amazing because I mean,
Love the
everything
question.
is a great question. So hopefully that helped. And I saw a comment that said, thank you for answering my question. So awesome. We'll try to get in as many questions, but what do you want to go to next? Is
Let's talk
this
about zinc.
zinc? So we got a question
Yes.
here
So
on
someone's asking,
zinc.
is 1.5 times RDA for zinc appropriate for those who are plant-based? So let's talk about why there's a difference. So generally, the recommended daily allowance, this is in the US, this is in Canada, is 8. We know that that's around 8 milligrams per day for females, 11 for males. So that's
Mhm.
for those over 18 years old. World
Mhm.
Health Organization has a little bit higher of recommendations. They recommend 14 milligrams a day. So we know that plant foods are rich in a compound called phytates, and phytates
Mhm.
generally are known to be an anti-nutrient. They have their benefits as well.
I hate that word.
But phytates, for some people who don't have the appropriate gut microbiome to break them down,
Right.
they might struggle with phytates, and phytates can prevent as robust absorption of zinc.
Mhm.
But that's not to say that a plant-based diet is deficient in zinc. Many plant foods are really abundant in zinc. So things like nuts and seeds, whole grains, root vegetables,
Mhm.
legumes, you can get plenty of zinc on a plant-based diet. There also just happens to be phytates there. So
Mhm.
short answer, if you're worried about the phytates, you want to soak, you want to properly cook, you want to sprout. So you can do a lot of these different things, even just cooking them. And then, some do recommend to get as much as 21 milligrams a day. So in Australia, they do recommend that. So that is 1.5 times the amount that is recommended there, which is 14 milligrams. So um, just to be safe, you kind of want to shoot for the higher end,
Mhm.
but also work on your gut health. So you're breaking down those phytates, or break down the phytates before you eat the foods.
And I'll quickly add, this is where context matters, right? So someone who's in just incredible gut disarray, dysbiosis, who's struggling with gut issues, you're not only not properly processing these plant foods and getting the most out of your food and getting the most out of your nutrition, you are becoming more susceptible to these anti-nutrients, right? Where these things, phytates, oxalates, lectins, are actually have shown to have antioxidant properties in the
Mhm.
gut when they're properly processed. They're actually food for some of these beneficial microbes that we have in our gut. But if you're lacking in some of these microbes, if you've had whatever, I mean, there's so many reasons why, which you can watch on another YouTube video or video we've done of why that is. But a lot of us are in a state of dysbiosis for many reasons, and it is assessing that. It's going a little bit deeper and going, how can I facilitate this healthy ecosystem so I can get the most out of what I'm eating, whether it's animals or plants, right? but there's a lot of focus on plants because look, it takes more, but it's kind of like what takes more, right, if you have to do more in the gym, you're getting stronger, right? If there's more to do, you're getting smarter. If there's more work to be done, hopefully your business is growing, right? So it can be a good thing that it takes a little more. It's more complex, right? We hear about this complexity and we hear about the synergy of food. We want that. That is great for your health and for your gut health and for your microbes. So that's great. Yeah. Wonderful questions, guys. These are awesome.
Hmm. Let's do
We're
this
gonna go
other one.
to that one.
What is a raw plant that you feel is highly
Go and
underrated
click it.
but extremely nutrient dense?
Cool.
Looking to add more raw veggies to our diet as mainly pescatarian family. Okay.
You know what comes to my mind? I don't know if you have one.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Sprouts. Like we've been seeing
You
a
took
lot.
mine.
Yeah, you were. Oh yeah. Sorry, I took Delia's. Well, I have other ones too, but I guess. Oh, okay. You can go on with sprouts. I have one too. Really just kind of foraging. I love foraging.
Huh.
So, I know this probably isn't the most popular thing, or I don't know. This is my weird brain, but I love foraging. Like I recently found a strawberry tree next to our house, and I'm not getting things twisted. Strawberries are a small plant that grow in the ground. This is a strawberry tree. It's a different type of fruit, right? And it's native to the Mediterranean as well as Southern California. And it's not really that studied, but it tastes it's good. It's a little mushy and it does have some medicinal properties.
And you made sure it wasn't
I
poisonous.
made sure it wasn't, obviously,
That's the
yes. So
most important thing about
that's right. That's
foraging.
the disclaimer with foraging, but I feel like foraging is coming back. We're seeing a lot of people on Instagram and YouTube do this. I love this because it's a hyper local raw plant foods, right? Even sometimes I'll forage for some dandelion greens. There's also, oh man, I'm blanking on the other little, like it's a so-called weed, but it's thick. Oh, purslane. Purslane is another one, super high in great amino acids, and purslane grows almost everywhere, guys, especially here in Southern California, but I think it grows all across the United States and beyond. And it looks like it's technically in the succulent family. It looks like really thick, and you can just chop it up and saute it like you would spinach or something, right? And just throw it in a saute, which we've done before. Miner's lettuce was one that's raw that we recently got. So Layla and I foraged from miner's lettuce, and it tastes like butterleaf lettuce, and it grows wild. So I'm a big fan of that. Obviously, you have to know what you're doing. Probably something easier is the sprouts.
And just
like we're
yeah,
saying.
with foraging, you want to really thoroughly wash them. You never know if a dog has peed on
Coyote or
them
a
or a
dog peed on it.
coyote or again, if landscapers around are spraying.
But
But
I got to comment on that. I hear that a lot, but you guys would be surprised what happens to your, agriculture or monoculture foods as well. If you guys think animals or insects or even people aren't peeing on that, you got another thing coming. So wash your vegetables and fruits and
no matter where they
everything, no
came
matter
from.
where they're coming from. And so, yeah.
So
What was
mine, you
yours?
can
Or that I
you can
said.
grow it on your own, and you can forage sprouts from your own kitchen. But I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of sprouts. Studies have shown that they can be much higher in antioxidant properties. For example,
Mhm.
broccoli sprouts are shown to be much higher in sulforaphane, that antioxidant that's
Mm.
found in broccoli. And so I think it was like, don't quote me on this. I think it was like 100 times more potent in sulforaphane in sprout form. So again, you're buying little seeds, or you can even harvest the seeds. I know James likes to do that. Sometimes he'll harvest the seeds from our plants in our little mini backyard. It's not huge, but we really forage what we can out of there. But sprouts, you
Mhm.
guys can sprout stuff in your own kitchen. It's really easy
Yeah.
once you have it down. It can be a really easy process. So broccoli sprouts, lentil sprouts. I'm a huge fan of sprouting legumes as well. We'll sprout mung beans. Sometimes you can sprout chickpeas.
Mhm.
And so I'm a really, really big fan of raw sprouts. James, you're a
Love
big
it.
fan
I
of
am. And
forage
you could
things.
sprout chickpeas, you could sprout lentils. Did you
Mhm.
see all that? I mean, you
I
could
did.
sprout, you did. Yeah. So you can sprout so many things, which is great. Okay. Couple more questions before we have to get out of here. But we love connecting. We love these live. We wish we could do like a live Q&A for a super long time. Maybe we'll try to do that one day. But I love this. And guys, if you want more information on us, go to marytout.com. If you want us to add some of our dietitians to your care team, go to marytout.com and learn more. Sign up for our portal. There's no commitment, and you can check everyone out. Why does stress affect gut health? This is great. And guys,
Mm,
go on our YouTube. We've done
mm.
mental health and SIBO and IBS. We've done stress and gut health. We've done videos on this. So I highly recommend that.
And it's a topic that's really near and dear to our hearts. And I don't feel like
Totally.
one that enough people talk about, to be honest, especially in
Hmm.
this space of gut health. I think it's kind of like an
Yes.
afterthought. I was someone that I follow and a page that I really, really do respect and look up to, but they were saying things like, leaky gut is not a thing, or it is a thing, but it's not something that you really need to worry about because once the stressor, whether it is a food that's stressing out the gut or mental stress, once that's
Right.
resolved, then your it repairs itself. Very true. And that is very true. And they cited studies. But
Hmm.
I think that it's almost a privileged thing to say, right? We know that a lot of people are out there living with trauma, and maybe the stress isn't temporary, right?
Right.
Maybe you're living in that stress for years or decades or, months. Who knows? So maybe that is something that's ongoing where you have that intestinal hyperpermeability for
Right.
quite some time and that wreaks havoc. We know, just to really be brief, but like James said, go back and watch the other videos. Stress can affect so many things. Stress can affect the output of bile. Stress can affect your stomach acid production. Stress can affect
Hmm.
your motility. So many factors and so many facets of every single aspect of our digestion can be affected by stress. And we
Yeah.
know there are different types of stress, right? There's physical stress, so things like injuries. There's chemical stress, so whether that's neurotransmitters, any type of
Foods
outside
you're eating.
foods, outside chemicals, so medications, drugs, alcohol, those can affect things. And there's emotional stress.
Big one.
So that can be really big for a lot of people. But like we said, I think this is something that we're so passionate about talking about. If you've been my patient or you've heard me talking about, when I go through my patient's health story with them, it's always something I ask about. It's something I
Yeah.
ask about each visit. How has stress been this month? And that's not to write it off because I hear this a lot from IBS patients, or, we hear this a lot that a lot of the times patients feel unheard because they're told, oh, it's just stress.
Right.
And so, yes, stress can impact symptoms. So many other things can also impact symptoms. But I think really to have somebody hear you, acknowledge the trauma, the stress that you've been through, and have you get proper help, right? If you need
Hmm.
somebody to support mental health, we would love to just continue to destigmatize it. Your
Hmm.
brain is an organ just like any other organ in your body. If your kidneys needed help, you'd see a nephrologist. If your endocrine system needed help, you'd see an endocrinologist. So absolutely no shame in the game if you need a little bit of help, extra love, whether that's talk therapy or medication for mental health support. But it can certainly, certainly, certainly impact the neurotransmitters that we make in the gut, like serotonin, 5-HTP, so many things. So stress is something that we hope to continue to talk about.
And we acknowledge it, and it is a definite factor for sure. I think
Mhm.
we'll just maybe run through.
Okay.
So people with IBS should be eating broccoli and cauliflower, etc. That was a
Mm.
question.
Yes and no. So
Okay.
it depends.
Yeah.
Again, these things, so cauliflower and then broccoli stems are high FODMAP. Sometimes when somebody is working with a practitioner undergoing treatment, you're asked to eat a low FODMAP diet. So it should be temporary, no longer than 8 weeks, really. But
Mhm.
on a low FODMAP diet, if that's medical nutrition therapy that you and your team decided on, maybe not for that time. Or say somebody has hydrogen sulfide SIBO and they have a hard time breaking down that hydrogen sulfide gas, or with sulfates in food and sulfides.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe you're avoiding those high sulfur foods. In general, those sulfur rich foods are high in sulforaphane, that antioxidant. And that
Mhm.
antioxidant is so needed to help with all of our body's detoxification process, so many processes in the body and decreasing inflammation. So, really, we feel like if you tolerate it, everyone should be eating high sulfur foods. If you don't have that type of SIBO, and again, you're not on a low FODMAP diet, you should be working to work cauliflower and you should be working to work broccoli back into your diet, especially if you've gone into the reintroduction phase of FODMAP. So, absolutely, if you tolerate them, eat them. They're great for your gut.
Yes. And lastly, happy Nutrition Month. Do you have any recipes that we can use to eat more bitters? Wonderful question. Great question to end on because we do our Good Gut A through Z guide, which is on our website. Go to marriedhealth.com. You'll get over like hundreds. There's hundreds of
There's
recipes we added
yeah,
in there. It's not a guide,
over
it's a
a
mini
hundred.
book essentially.
Yeah.
And it teaches you about the foods and it'll give you recipes on the foods. And they're all really good gut
So
foods.
several bitter foods are in that Good Gut A to Z guide.
Totally. So yeah, you guys can go there and check it out. My gosh, I kind of want to. I
And
want to
guys,
keep going, but
March is also Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So this is
yeah.
a topic that we plan to talk a
Ooh,
little bit
that's
more
good.
about. We're going to be sharing content surrounding this.
Yes.
But we know
Stay
that
tuned.
colorectal cancer is one of the most rising cancers, especially it's being diagnosed earlier and earlier. So people in their 20s and 30s are being diagnosed more commonly with colorectal cancer. And again, this is a cancer that is majority due to lack of fiber in the diet. So if you're somebody who's suffered with
Lifestyle factors.
constipation, yes, unhealthy lifestyle factors, poor sleep, smoking, poor diet, low fiber, all those
Mhm.
things, higher risk for colorectal cancer. So we certainly hope that you find inspiration to eat more fiber here and that you're preventing those things for yourself, your loved ones.
Two more things. We'll answer this
Okay.
question. Do you have a probiotic you guys recommend? We recommend a
Uh,
synbiotic.
yeah, yes and no,
Yes
depending.
and no, depending. Right. This is very general. So generally speaking,
Work with your care team. This is not medical
this is
advice.
not medical advice, but one of our favorite synbiotics is seed synbiotic. So that is excellent.
We like recommending that sometimes for appropriate patients, or sometimes I'll just recommend single strain. So sometimes with my patients with
Yeah,
methane dominant SIBO who have constipation, I'll just recommend single strain Lactobacillus reuteri.
you're
So
getting you're
again, it
getting
just
very
depends.
specific.
Not
So
medical
don't
advice.
not
Ask your
medical
care team.
advice.
Yeah, but not often do we recommend probiotics, but sometimes absolutely they're indicated.
Yes. And then too, just a quick note of hope. Like Dahlia is mentioning, colorectal cancer is on the rise, but there's hope in that, in a sense that your colon, especially the lining of your gut, essentially is very similar to your skin. It is a modified epithelial cell. These are epithelial cells. Do you
Skin
guys
cells.
Skin cells? Do you guys get cut on your skin? What happens to that cut, right? If I got cut right here, in a couple of weeks it would heal, right? Your gut can do the same thing. Now, if I kept getting cut and cut and cut,
Irritating it.
irritating every single day, is it gonna heal? No, right? If I kept hitting the same spot not every single day, every single meal
And
time, let's say,
stressing those
and
those
stressing.
cells
So
out.
let's say every hour I'm hitting it, maybe with a blunted object, maybe it's with a phone, whatever it is, I'm hitting that cut. That cut will get infected. That cut is not going to heal. You keep expending energy and blood flow and just immune
Resources.
factors and resources in your body on that cut, right? Continually, pretty soon you go in and like, doc, my thumb is infected. Oh, we're gonna have to amputate your thumb, right? That's a resection of your colon. Let's say that is cutting out a piece of your colon. Why don't we understand what are we doing? Why don't we stop hitting the same spot? Why don't we stop irritating these epithelial cells? That is essentially your gut lining, right? If you are inputting foods, drinks, alcohol, cigarettes, right? These chemical factors, or like Dahlia mentioned, could be chemical, physical, emotional factors that continue to hit. All right. If it's on the outside, it makes more sense. Why do you keep hitting the same spot over and over again? We need to stop hitting the spot and then start healing that spot, right?
And that's why, one of the things that we say is heal with each meal. We know the
Right.
lining of your stomach, the lining of the intestines in and of itself, it replaces itself every 3 to 4 days. So
Right.
that's hopeful where you can say, okay, I can turn things around. I can start to heal with each meal. I can start to teach my gut how to tolerate more of these foods that will help heal things, help decrease inflammation, help to restore some of that great microbiome balance, or bitter foods to help with flow of my intestines. So You guys, we just hope that in National Nutrition Month in March, every month, every
Yep.
day, you consider healing with each meal. You are having, different types of flavors, different types of colors. You are keeping that diversity in mind. It's
Hmm.
very, very gut friendly. The theme of this year, to, explore a world of flavor.
Yep.
And it's, just in line with our mission and our goals for you and your fam.
On that note, guys, we hope that makes sense. If it does, comment down below. If you're watching this later, comment. We love your thoughts. We love your insights. We love just hearing what you guys want to hear more about. So let us know down below. And we'll see you for this like dietitian talk live at least once a month. We're also doing our good gut lives at least once a month. So tune into our YouTube or Facebook or Instagram and interact with us, guys. We love it. We love our community. We love all of you. We appreciate all your DMs and your messages and comments.
We have
And
lots more SIBO IBS content coming your way. So we've been doing a lot of
yes.
videos, and we're also going to get back to releasing just really nice swipeable content and really nice informative
Mhm.
evidence-based content. So we're excited to continue getting that stuff out to you guys.
Yes. So thank you all. We'll see you all very soon. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend with your family or friends or taking some time for yourself. And yeah, we value that and we hope you do too. So we'll see you next time.
Happy National Nutrition Month.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.